Maria Masani. How do you do? Many of you ladies have been waiting for my video on how to dress for intergenerational wealth. So here I'm wearing a brocade, which is gold thread with pure silk that I hand sewed, and I created the pattern from the beginning. It will be part of my Dress for Success collection that will be coming up in the spring. For those of you who are new, I'm a couturier from Ottawa, Canada, and former Miss Universe finalist. And I worked for the Parliament and Cambridge University and so on. So, today we are looking at how to dress for intergenerational wealth. I do want to thank the lovely ladies of Tattle for doubling the views on my videos. Shukran jazilan. Большое спасибо. Merci. Thank you so much. So, I have a treat for you. If you're going to dress to attract marrying men in your 20s, you know you cannot afford to dress youthful, because dressing youthful means, pardon my language, but dressing like a floozy, dressing like a whore. That is what is promoted to attract the young boys, to attract the unripe fruit and our strategists who are broke, dusty losers. So, you know, do you want a broke, dusty losers? Dress for the job you want to have. Do you want to be a hookup of a broke, dusty losers? Then by all means, dress youthful. Now, if you don't want to be a girlfriend of a broke, dusty loser, but you want to be a lady treated properly by a gentleman and get married, you have to dress the age of marrying men. You have to dress older. Today we'll be talking about K&R strategy as we continue our series. The first time the terms K&R strategy appeared was in the book by MacArthur and Wilson, The Theory of Island Biogeography, published by the Princeton Press. The first application of K&R strategy to humans, as you may recall, was published in the Journal of Social Biology, volume 35, by Rushton. What are the terms K&R strategy? K strategy is the strategy of Kings, Kate Middleton, Kanye, the Obamas, and Wales, the animal. K strategy is known as legacy strategy. K-strategist humans marry for legacy. K-strategists pair bond and tend to be monogamous, and K-strategists invest a lot of resources in very few young. They come from a stable environment, and they are strong competitors in a crowded niche. Human K-strategists preserve intergenerational wealth. One of the most famous K-strategist families is the British royal family that managed to pass on wealth for generations. It's quite difficult because usually they say the grandfather makes it, then the son maintains it, and the grandson loses it. Children live through others, through toys, and then when they grow older and are adolescent, they live through celebrities. And then when they have a life of their own, suddenly they're not hyper-consuming celebrity content anymore, and no longer are as profitable as a demographic. for those who are creating celebrities and pop culture. Remember my infamous meme? Tasty Dusty. Tasty Dusty. Emily Post, the author of Etiquette and one of the Gilded Age socialites of some of the wealthiest families of old money in America, said that those who are in the media are the class clowns of high society, and the true king and queen of high society are in the shadows, are hidden, and don't flash their wealth everywhere. Did you know? Some people pay to get in Forbes magazine, and some people pay for Forbes to not publish their names. Our strategists are like reptiles, rabbits, that's why the Playboy symbol, rappers. Strategists live fast, die young. Most of them come from an unstable environment, and they spray and pray. They spread their seed. So think of turtles laying a lot of eggs on the beach, hoping one of them survives. In humans, it's a poor man who screws a lot of women, hoping that, one of those women are strong and independent enough that his children survive. However, our strategy is also known as poverty strategy, because if the father doesn't invest in the resources and the upbringing, then the family loses the intergenerational wealth, because it's much more difficult for a single mother to be able to pass intergenerational wealth to her children. Why is that? Raising children on its own is 2.5 jobs. Then add her profession. It's a lot of work for a woman. What is level-down propaganda? It's not a conspiracy theory, but a phenomenon documented by the PhD student Rob Henderson, who appeared to discuss it with Dr. Jordan Peterson and also wrote about it in the New York Post. So he talks about luxury beliefs, how today personal luxury items are easy for the middle class in America to attain via credit, especially if they mortgage their home or anything like this. A middle class person can be financially illiterate at great expense, but obtain luxury goods. Therefore, elite are always seeking new ways to distinguish themselves from the lower classes. The marriage rate of white elite has not changed from the 1950s. However, the out-of-wedlock black American birth rate today is 75%, and whites own the black artists and promote them and so on. Of course, there are a few exceptions here and there, but pretty much who owns the large corporations of the United States? Most owners of the largest corporations in the United States are white men. Rather, elite always promote their self-interest, and it's simply selfish behavior of some elite, and not everyone, of course. But it does happen, and the consequences are devastating, because elite who have a lot of power, even if a couple of them do something, can have devastating consequences on the lower classes and people trying to get ahead. So don't listen to hypogamous, level down, marry down, date down propaganda. Also, don't be bitter that some people go to an ethical extent to defend the legacy of their lazy trust fund kid children. If you were in their place, you would likely do the same thing. It's difficult to preserve intergenerational wealth. So that's why elite dress modestly and do quite a few things to preserve intergenerational wealth, especially in the old money that differs so much from the circus clowns in the media. The second reason we see so much R-strategy, level-down propaganda, is because broke, dusty, young loser men are the largest consumers of mainstream music videos, pop culture, and things like that that are vapid, vacuous, and very well lit. For broke, dusty losers, and I mean students in high school and students in university. So is it mean that I call them that? Because I was one too. But yes, if you're dating at that age, compared to adults who are gainfully employed, you are a broke, dusty loser if you are a student living in dorms with other students or living with your parents, compared to gainfully employed adults who have housing of their own. Yes, you're a broke, dusty loser. So, young, broke, dusty losers like to watch popular culture, not for the content, but as avatars for adulthood. Major corporations appeal to young, broke, dusty losers and their desire to be adult when they're not. And they create this idealized adult world for young, immature, K-strategist, unripe fruit, juvenile youth. So let's recap why you should only date established men. So K-strategist women are the same through all ages, but K-strategist men have an R-strategy phase when they're young and broke and have no money, because it does not benefit them to use the few resources they have on one woman and her children. Spray and pray benefits K-strategists until they have money of their own. And then when they have money and resources and a home, job, a car, and so on, when they become established, K-strategist men then look for a wife to continue their legacy. For broke, dusty losers, and I mean students in high school and students in university. So is it mean that I call them that? Because I was one too. But yes, if you're dating at that age, compared to adults who are gainfully employed, you are a broke, dusty loser if you are a student living in dorms with other students or living with your parents, compared to gainfully employed adults who have housing of their own. Yes, you're a broke, dusty loser. So, young, broke, dusty losers like to watch popular culture, not for the content, but as avatars for adulthood. Immature K-strategists I call unripe fruit because it's bitter. They are into hookup culture, they behave like R-strategists, they don't commit, they behave like broke, dusty losers because at that point they are, and they are the largest consumers of popular culture and pop culture. When broke, dusty losers start being winners, get gainfully employed, and have a place of their own, they have a life of their own, and suddenly they don't care about Britney Spears or Ariana Grande or whoever, because now they're fully adults and have a life. They don't watch those pop stars for a life. Children live through others, through toys, and then when they grow older and are adolescent, they live through celebrities. And then when they have a life of their own, suddenly they're not hyper-consuming celebrity content anymore, and no longer are as profitable as a demographic for those who are creating celebrities and pop culture. Prince William did not pay attention to Kate Middleton when she was dressing elegantly, if you recall. She had to walk around practically naked on stage for him to say, "Oh, Kate is hot," right? In contrast, Prince Harry after the Invictus Games, he had felt established, ready to settle down, build a legacy. Meghan Markle was dressed elegantly to meet Prince Harry, and he proposed not too long after because he was looking for a wife. And Meghan Markle looked elegant on their first date and dressed the part of a wife and got married. Kate Middleton had to be waity Kate and had to wait on Prince William, and I mean, good for her, but waiting so long is not my first choice. But when he finally established himself, then she threatened to leave, and then he proposed. He was finally at the age where he felt he was a man. That's only the time he felt interested in proposing. And before, he didn't care. That's why you should dress differently if you want to attract juveniles who pump and dump, or in Prince William's case, you have to chase after him for 8 years, and he breaks up with you, dates someone else, and get back together, then break up with you. For me, that's not fun. I would rather not date at all at that age, or date an older, established gentleman if I were in my 20s. If you're young, boys your age, are not interested in marriage, but banga banga, bang bang, right? If that's what you want and you want to be pumped and dumped, then dress your age. But you have to dress older and elegantly and affluently if you want a marrying man. I know that's harsh. I know many of you don't want to hear that, but that's the truth. Dressing elegantly does not mean being stiff or dressing matronly. As you know, I often have a hair out of place, spezza natura. I believe in Italian perfect imperfection, or the Japanese concept of wabi-sabi, not being too perfect. And instead of being a Stepford wife, which is the signature of prostitutes, to dress in a way that's natural, elegant, and lived in, having your own personal sense of style. Elegance does not have to be matronly. You don't have to dress like a fossil. You can have fun. For example, look at my outfit. It's quality fabric, and I have what's called princess lines. So, as a result, it fits me. But as Edith Head said, clothing should be tight enough to show you are a woman, but loose enough to show that you're a lady. I want to teach you the theory of dressing for intergenerational wealth. The style is called in couture classic chic. Where Anna Bey is correct is that people who are poor often wear spandex, miniskirt, show all the skin. It also shows insecurity, because poor women think, oh, you know, they only have any value or worth whatsoever as a piece of meat. In contrast, the elite lady has self-confidence, that we can be flirty, come hither, but at the same time, you know, I'm bearing a bit of my shoulders and not my bosom. Because it's personal and tells my story. It tells a story, it's personal. You know, it's fun. So I know if you're used to dressing naked, it might be boring. But trust me, this is what men who marry are attracted to. They want someone that is not showing the goods to the world, but the clothing shows that, with their imagination, they can imagine what else is there and are sure that she's very beautiful. Poor women dress too sexy. They dress showcasing the meat. It's a meat market where elite women dress flirty. elite women flirt with the femininity and not the sex appeal excessively, but there's a little hint here and there to keep things from being stale. Also, with elite women, there is a sense of fun, and quite often a sense of youthfulness, playfulness, naturalness, being lived in, enjoying your life, dolce vita, and having quite a bit of fun. If it sparks joy, there is a certain elegance to it. As I showed in my Italian videos, the Stepford wife and the robot are not elegant because it's the uncanny valley and reminds us of death. Elegance can be fun, natural, and enjoying your life and bringing joy to the life of the man you want to seduce. So, Anna Bey's last video, she talked about her life in a reality TV show. I was surprised because Tattle wrote about this and her time as an escort, as a topless dancer, and so many things. You can Google Tattle topless dancer. It will be thread 14, page 2. You can see everything, right? And she didn't care until I had my last video where I did a bit of reference to her past, and having worked in media relations, I applaud her for telling about the reality TV show. I also advise to come clear about everything all at once, otherwise drip by drip by drip, it's not the most elegant image. We all have a past, as she was saying in the video. Sure, we all have made mistakes, I agree. Although I don't know many people who went on a reality TV show, kissed another woman, jumped topless into the pool, and she was always drunk, crazy, unlike the others on the reality TV show. Now, that was a strategy. See? And this is why I included it in the video. So back then, Anna Bey believed the level down culture and thought, if she is the craziest clown in the media circus in the reality TV show, and she acted the most crazy, maybe she could become rich. At that time, social media wasn't as big as today, and reality TV shows was a big, bright, new thing, like TikTok is today. And she thought if she was the craziest on the reality TV show in Sweden, for sure she'd be a Hollywood actress. But that's not how things work. Because in America, nobody cares about reality TV shows in Sweden. So the harsh reality is after the show where she on purpose played a class clown because she thought that is how you become rich and get ahead in life. And I don't fault her, because most people who believe the television, right, in your youth, if you believe the mainstream level down propaganda, you'd do the same too, right? So I don't fault her for it. But I wish, she says she's an elite lady. Part of being elite is taking responsibility. So in her video, she says, well, they brought us alcohol and they cut the filming to make her more crazy. But, she actually acted as crazy as possible because she wanted people to remember her and hoped she would get roles in Hollywood. Sadly, the reality was starkly different. After that show was over, it was over. She was the laughingstock of Sweden, and there was no other reality TV show. She had her 15 minutes of fame, and then a bad reputation, and nothing else, and no riches. She got traumatized by that, as you can see talking about her past in that show. She wasn't proud of it, but she thought that's how you get ahead in this world. And how would she know? Because that's what the media says, how you get ahead, and the media is lying. And she found that out in Malta, how the media was lying. Then Anna Bey thought, okay, that didn't work. So she thought, as Jeannie Sales says, go where the rich are, and that was a smart choice. So, next, she went to Italy, she says officially she met someone who gave her a taste of the elite life. Well, if you see the reality TV show, you could see that. She wanted to join the elite from the beginning and was trying to figure out how to get ahead in this world. And most of us, if we have a brain, do want to get ahead and want to be happy. I don't fault her for that at all. And, you know, she didn't know any better. She didn't grow up in a Muslim country like I did, so she just didn't know, right? And she didn't grow up in an elite family. So she listened to Jeannie Sales and went where the elite were in Ibiza. And there she worked as a topless dancer. I am not saying this as a criticism. I am saying this could be any one of us. If we didn't have the right education and we really believed the TV to be gospel truth, she thought, oh, you know, doing these crazy antics for sure will get her rich. And there, she said that she did some, you know, sex work in exchange for yacht access and so on, because she thought that's what you have to do to get ahead. Well, if you watch the movies and popular culture, what else would you think? And there she met her DJ boyfriend, Michael, who I think was her savior. So he and her dated, and then he took her to Malta, where he was the top DJ for acts like Akon, Paris Hilton, and the great celebrities. But also, she learned that 90% of elite were hidden and saw that the affluent were not like celebrities on stage. And even celebrities like Paris Hilton might be doing crazy antics on stage for the camera, but off camera they changed into more conservative outfits and act like old money elite. And for 4 years, and if you see the DJ Michael's videos, she becomes increasingly elegant over time. She starts vulgar but becomes elegant, because then she learns, oh my gosh, I was wrong all this time. And because she went and mingled with the elite, she learned how she thought the elite were because of television level down propaganda is not how elite really are. What Anna Bey learned is elite engage in K-strategy, though she doesn't know the term, but she observed the effect, that they dress modestly, they're not flashy all over the place, but elite women, you know, they're not matronly, they're not fossils, they have fun. Elite women do work hard to compete for attention, because all the women of the world want their men, and if they have someone less, they level down. So elite women are very competitive. Elite women do compete for attention, but they compete for attention in an elegant way that you don't see, right? They seek attention without getting caught, and that is one of the fundamentals of elite elegance. So here are a couple of my pro tips, and you'll see more next week. During the day, avoid cleavage. Instead, have princess lines or darts, which is very common to haute couture. Have clothing tailored to you, to suit you, of course in natural, high-quality fabrics. Luxury is in the details, and look at the details of the fabric and the craftsmanship. Luxury is also personal, that suits you. Elite women have a personal style and hire a stylist. Elite women aren't perfect and often do spezzenatura, or perfect imperfection, and have something wrong or a mistake on purpose to attract a positive attention. And elite women do work to be noticed, but don't look like they were trying too hard. So here are a couple of my pro tips, and you'll see more next week. During the day, avoid cleavage. Instead, have princess lines or darts, which is very common to haute couture. Have clothing tailored to you, to suit you, of course in natural, high-quality fabrics. Luxury is in the details, and look at the details of the fabric and the craftsmanship. Luxury is also personal that suits you. Elite women have a personal style and hire a stylist. Elite women aren't perfect and often do spezza natura, or perfect imperfection, and have something wrong or a mistake on purpose to attract a positive attention. And elite women do work to be noticed, but don't look like they were trying too hard. Elite women don't leave style to chance, but have a personal stylist, branding. I do color season consulting, so they would also look at their body type and have clothing that suits them. I also create color capsule wardrobes, and we'll be talking about all of this and more next week. So, please like, share, and subscribe, and I will have a brief video on concrete tips and much more tips and tricks for dressing for intergenerational wealth. The basics of classic chic.